Hey guys, this is Jared with ComparePropFunds.com. Today is day 2 of my funded account challenge. We are trying to get to a live payout with a 25K account and a 50K account. What makes this really special is I'm going to do it with one micro on the 25K and two micros on the 50K. So the smallest amount of trading futures and NQ futures, we're going to go ahead and get to payout. Let's go ahead and get into it. So right before the open, we had some news that the Ukraine deal might be done. We might be able to end the war in Ukraine. So if we look over here, this big pop, and I actually had a long going into this in a different account. I'm not trading the Purdia accounts, anything but New York hours, and I'm only taking one setup and two variations of that setup. That'll be the only thing I'm trading. Everything else I'll do in different funded accounts in my personal accounts. So to get into it again, potentially Russia, Ukraine truce or settlement, something came out, and that's where we saw the big candles to the upside. Then we had the PPI this morning, which was obviously delayed, but we've got that. And didn't move the market really at all, just kind of continued to the downside. And so we're set to open. Obviously, we had a big move yesterday, and it makes sense that we kind of trim some of that fat from yesterday. However, looking at the move overnight, a lot of it was to the downside, so we can potentially
market on open imbalance.
Market on open imbalance coming through from Financial Juice. Shout out to them. Love that product. So get here to the open. I'm only, again, using one setup, two variations. That's all I'm trading. I'm going to trade for about an hour this morning. Then I'm going to take off, and I will do a recap if I take any more trades, or I will recap in the morning. Thanks for watching. Let's go ahead and get into the open. Make sure everything that I want to see is out and about. I have other accounts, but again, I'm only trading by 2 per diem, my 25K instant funded, my 50K instant funded. Copy trading. And there's the open. Nice little move up.
Market on open imbalance. S&P 500 buy side 295 million. Nasdaq 100 buy side 26 million. Dow 30 buy side 75 million. Mag 7 buy side 4.8 million.
Also, just so we're aware, 8 o'clock is consumer confidence. That can definitely move the market. So we want to be aware of that in the next 30 minutes. All right. Took out some of the bullishness from yesterday already. But again, nothing that I'm seeing right now for setup, but that can change here quickly. We'll see how this candle actually closes. Some two-sided action here.
AMD falls 6% as Meta in talks to spend on Google's AI chips. Nvidia shares fall 4.6% at open. Alphabet shares gain 2.6%.
Really choppy open. Really choppy. I mean, just all the way full retracements. High 57 and a quarter.
Hello everybody, this is Donald J. Trump. You're behind the markets. If you're a real day trader, go real time at financialjuice.com/purchase and save 67% on the subscription. Isn't that one big, huge, brilliant deal? Come on, people.
Free plug for Financial Juice. I just have the free version.
Record high after the information reports Meta in talks to spend billions on Google's chips. Last up 2%.
Wow, we got text flying again. Alphabet. Yeah, Google's the only one that's coming down. I take that back. Nvidia is still getting slammed back into the lower 170s. Nice strong move here. Up and away for Apple. Some selling pressure.
UK Chancellor Reeves decides against cutting VAT on energy bills in the budget.
Just leave me a comment if that's too much for you guys. And I'll consider, if you guys don't like sitting here for an hour, if you guys want me to just cut to the nitty gritty, that might be a possibility where I just do recaps. And we're still in negotiations with Mike. Hopefully we can do a head-to-head challenge and see how that goes. But no setup from me yet this morning. Yesterday I had a setup right at the open as early as I could have, which worked out pretty well. But the beautiful thing about, like, once you define your setup, define how you enter your stop, how to define your take profit, like, it becomes easier to sit on the sidelines. And I think if you guys watch anyone else like Nutty Bar or something, I think that's what he found success in as well. Is if you're not taken by price action, like trying to just play momentum really, or direction, and not have realistic stops, and your entries and exits are easily moved, right? You're like, oh, I'll give it a little bit more room, or I don't know if I should take profits here. And so I do recommend that, especially if you're trading futures, you have to have a defined setup. What is it that you're going to take? If not, like, separate your accounts and, like, have an account where you can take your willy-nilly gut feeling trades that you have no back testing done on. And I think, like, if you don't do back testing, like, you don't have the confidence that, like, hey, like the setup I'm using, I did the back testing for all of November, and I was averaging 4 to 10 trades a day, which is a lot. I usually only try trading in the morning, but this setup does set up multiple times in the day, so I'm working on during this challenge to take the setups as long as I can. It's hard for me to trade for 6.5 hours. It's mentally straining. Sure, you can do it, but mother market will come and get you too at the same time. So for me, I'm just waiting for my setup with this challenge. I'll let you guys know if I'm taking any other trades, but right now it's just major two-sided action. It is a week that really, like, you could probably just skip this week. Historically, you're not, like, getting these monster moves. You could argue on Thursday and Friday, like, are generally, like, smaller bullish days, just because, like, there's nobody really there, so the market can kind of just do a little melt up through the holiday until early closes. But for me, I'd rather just, like, I'm going to trade a little bit here. I'll trade offline after I have to shut off in an hour, but I just want to see what we can do here and see if I can get a setup here in the next hour. Hopefully this won't be a stream where you guys don't get the action. Again, right now, this is the 50K numbers you're seeing right here. So my 25K is half of what the 25K is being traded with 1 micro and 2 micros copied to the 50K. Based on my back testing, I should pass right around that 2-day mark. So the first day made about 300 targets, only 200 in that account. So we're well on our way. I just need to not force any trades, understand this is a short week. There's no reason for me to, like, force anything. If the market just wants to chop around like this, I'll kind of sit on the sidelines and just wish I was in Apple right now. Apple at 280. Fantastic. I think
Cable rises 0.5%, hits 1 week high.
Also, if you guys see, got the good luck top step hat on, the 5K club. So your first 5,000, you cash out with them. They send you a hat. So, good little entry level gift. I don't, get a lot of stuff from a lot of them. I know Apex sent me stuff back in the day. I can't really recommend Apex right now. John, the guy that's taken over, he's gone ahead and made all these additional rules, and I've been denied payouts. So, the thing I can give them a lot of credit is they'll deny a payout, but they won't take the funds out of your account. I've actually been denied a payout with other firms for erroneous rules, and they not only will deny the payout, they'll take out the account. I had Humble Funding, which is on my blacklist. I had 3 accounts to pay out, and they basically said I signed the agreement an hour after I started trading and voided it. And the best part is they didn't tell me until I requested a payout, which is bullshit. So they let me trade it as they weren't going to say anything and just try to take my money. They found me on a technicality. The CEO, gave me some free accounts, which is just horse shit. When you're talking about a $10,000 payout that's denied. If I could have rang them through the computer, I would have. It's completely unacceptable, completely unprofessional. What they should have done is given me another account with the same funds in if there was some actual technicality, but their product is so shit that they didn't even tell you had to sign before you started trading. And if anything, I brought that to them, and they did make updates to their emails and made it very clear you do have to sign these before you trade, but it didn't help me. So if you're trading with Humble Funding, just be careful. They like to throw that they're paying out, but they're probably denying twice as much. And it wasn't for rules or anything. Again, it was a contract that you sign. And when you work with other companies, you can't trade until the contract's signed. And so the account's just not seated until then. So, for me arguing, I signed it the same day. It was an hour difference. They just denied it on technicality. So, don't recommend them. I recommend, especially when you're starting out, work with the big dogs. I'm a big fan of Tradeify. I like Purdia. I've never really worked with them. So I will have more after my first payout. Give you my opinion on them. Again, this market is trash. So if you're trading it, good luck. I don't like chop. Getting a little bit more downside action here. I can't see any news coming across. Again, top of the hour. So in about 20 minutes, we do have a report coming out. But nice weakness here. Let's see if this can do anything. The market's been super volatile, but we're already down to 25 points per NQ 1 minute candle. To me, that's very low for an open. I think yesterday it was well over 30 a few minutes in. Now we did have kind of a clear rocket ship up to the upside and then maintain those levels.
According to the FT, UK Finance Minister Reeves says is pressing ahead with a package of support for household energy costs, including changes to green levies on electricity. Nvidia shares slumped 5.5%, erasing $243 billion in market value.
Continues to die. Complete reversal. Microsoft, Amazon, complete reversal. Meta, nice bottoming tail right at the open and continues to show strength back in the 620s. Netflix giving up most of the gains it had from the end of the day yesterday. Still well off its high water mark. Alphabet, nice bounce so far. Tesla selling off some. Nvidia is very weak.
Article from the Financial Times on the feed for those interested.
So, if you guys have questions, I'm not going to kind of go through all my levels and stuff. Everything I do is my own proprietary development. I do utilize stuff that's free on TradingView. That's why I love TradingView. There's tons of programmers out there. PineScript is not a terrible piece of coding to work with, and the AI like Gronk does a pretty good job helping with the development of that. So I have not officially released any of my scripts, but I am actively working on a script. I just probably would rather have a programmer help me out with it than me fumble with Gronk. But we will see if I can get something out to you guys. This would be a pretty massive trade if this sets up. So far, no setup. NQ much weaker. Just looking at ticks. Ticks are right at the 0 line in both. A little better in ES. And then advanced decline line is positive in NQ and moving negative in ES. Looks like the biggest sector that's getting pounded is Infotech, which makes sense because it's a lot weaker than the S&P. Okay, we've got a setup here potentially, and let's see what we got here. It's another big down candle. This would be a setup for me that I will take, so we'll see what happens. This is not an easy one. This is a big trade, but I don't really see any strength coming in. So we'll see what happens.
Order filled.
Okay, we're short. Kind of bad time, but this is a big trade, so I'm not really worried about being underwater to start. We'll jump over here, guys, to the trade screen. And let's just go ahead and get our stop in there. So our stop is going to be at 837. 837. That's a big stop. So let's see here. 837. Yeah, that's a lot. 837. That's pretty much the max I want to be doing here. I always recommend getting your stop in, so about $230 here to the downside, and then we need to go ahead and get this in here. So we need to figure out where our take profit is. So I entered on this and 837. All right, and then we have a 1-to-1. Just really got to come down here. So let's see if we can sell this off. All right, 39 points. 617 is our. Wait, that doesn't seem right. Oh, maybe it is. Yep. All right. If this was a bigger trade, I would consider
US stocks extend full, the Nasdaq down 1%.
moving this to break even, but I'd really like to see these work. So let's see here. Oops, looks like you guys have an issue. There we go. A little better view for you. Why does this seem like it's way different? Let me look at something here, guys. Hopefully I don't mess this trade up. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm entered there at 22. I've got to go way up there. I think I might want to move my stop towards break even. I don't really like this one bouncing where it should. It's really early in the morning, so you get these rejection levels. So, and it's a big trade. I don't know here. I really don't want to see this trade go wrong. It's quite a big trade. I mean, it's 20, 100 and some points, but weakness is still there. I don't know, maybe I'd consider break even here. If I had multiple, I'd consider probably multiple. We do have a consumer confidence in a bit. It's getting down there.
Order filled.
I might take that off. I'm happy with that. We'll let this trade work, but I should probably have let it work, but let's see what we can do. I don't like the idea of taking trades off early, but that was a great first trade. So if you can't see, let me move this over a bit for you guys. Oh, should have left it, huh? Oh. I'm getting a little problem with my camera. Yeah.
US natural gas.
Let's look
futures
at my
fell
other
over
one.
5% to a 1-week low on record output, ample amounts of gas in storage, contract expiry, and lower prices in Europe on Ukraine peace talks.
Yeah, let's just show this quick. So, up 144
At 10
and
a.m.
lower
Eastern
one
time, we have the US
300.
CB consumer confidence forecast 93 spot free.
But I would have hit my
94
target,
spot
so I
6,
should have left
with a
it.
range of 96 to 91. US pending home sales change month over month, forecast 0.2%, prior 0%. US business inventories month over month, forecast 0%, prior 0.2%. Richmond Fed Composite Index forecast -5, prior -4. US pending homes index prior 74.8. The S&P 500 healthcare sector hits record high, last at 1.3%.
So hit target, it would have been 112 points. So should have just let it work, but already did better than yesterday, hit my targets. So now I will be transitioning. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm not going to rush it. And I just want to go ahead and book that in. So let's see here. We're up 583. So $5, not as, I'd say that's pretty good. For 4 trades, should have let it work. Could have been worth a little bit more, but again, I have to do a little research here. But I guess I should sit over here and get away from that. I don't know what's going on with my little dongle here. All right, buddy. All right, there you go. Okay, I think it's dead. Let me try a different one. Sorry, guys. Kind of working on some new setups and whatnot, so. Okay. What are you, like, panic? I was, okay. Well, let's just leave it like that for now. So, should have let the trade work. We had one trade, 112 points. But again, what I was trying to say before I was messing with my camera stuff, we, I think, don't want to go over the 2,000 and 1,000 in the 25K because I think they kind of force you to forfeit it, and that's what they want to move to live. But because live takes a while, if you guys have never been taking live, you're setting up a real brokerage account. So like you got to send in, obviously documentation of who you are. You got to sign the contracts. For me, I trade through an LLC, so I want to make sure that they're paying me the right
The
way.
Philadelphia Semiconductor Index down 3%.
Semiconductors are getting dropped. That was kind of news that people were going to be buying other people's chips. But basically, what I think is important to understand is when you're following the rules, there's no reason to get out ahead of your skis here. I'm well on my way. I've hit my target in both of the first 2 days. You have to have 5 days of over 125 in the 25K and 5 days of over 200. So I've done that. And so I have no problem just kind of going with the flow here, guys. I just want to make sure that I try to pass these for you in reasonable time. I'm not trading on the Thursday or Friday. So, sorry, I'm just updating some stuff. It looks bullish here, boys. Nice little bounce here. Let's see what we can get from this. So nice move here. We took this out. This is kind of like that spike. We want to see if we can get back above.
In 5 minutes' time, we have the USCB Consumer Confidence forecast 93.3, prior 94.6, with a range of 96 to 91. US pending home sales change month over month, forecast 0.2%, prior 0%. US business inventories month over month, forecast 0%, prior 0.2%. Richmond Fed Composite Index forecast -5, prior -4. US pending homes index prior 74.8.
Okay, so we're this is a nice little bounce we're getting here. Let's see if this bounce is real or we're gonna just rip back lower. Usually the first bounce is one I don't trust. Second bounce I'll trust. First bounce is usually a fake out. So if I don't see us take out the 830s, this would be a bounce back, and I'd be looking to get short to a new low of the day. Now, that's not a setup that I'm going to take in my Purdia accounts, but that's the idea of segmenting your setups, and then you kind of have a better idea of how your setups work. I know a lot of people trade price action or momentum, and the problem is it works great, but then you're taking different kinds of trades in the account, and you don't have a real grasp of hey, how's this working? So I have one account just dedicated to my momentum. I trade news specifically, the higher volatility ones, and what I find is that if you try to do it all over the place, you convolute your results, you convolute your understanding. So for me, I think this is a good example for you guys to understand. In my Purdia account, I have one setup, 2 variations. That's it. Technically, I have another setup here that just started, so I could go to another account and just take this as a setup. Okay? But this is another huge, this. I mean, this is, I'm trying to target, I'm just going to show you another setup. I mean, this is, oh, I already took profit in it. Didn't get my take profit moved in time, because my take profit should be all the way back up towards the open. So we'll see. How am I doing in that account? I'm doing pretty well. So nice little trade here. If you want to take it to the long side, I took it for 25 points already. And she's still going. Here, I'll show you the trade. And I'll be on for about, like I said, we got data coming out here in a minute and a half, so be careful. I like that I'm flat right now. But on my Purdia accounts, I'm done. One trade. So I can go ahead and make sure there's no active trades in here.
One minute remaining. I'll be leading with USCB consumer confidence.
$30 seconds. Good luck if you're in a trade.
Richmond Fed Composite Index, minus 15, lower than forecast of minus 5.
Not. Here we go. 10 seconds. 3.
10 seconds.
Thank you. All right. Anything? Some downward flush in here.
88.7, lower than forecast of 93.3. Pending home sales month over month, 1.9%, 1.9%, higher than forecast of 0.2%. Business inventories 0%, as expected.
So pending home sales is up a little bit, but consumer confidence is down. I think that's good for the market.
US pending homes index 76.3, 76.3.
So a little flush here, but I can't say that it's this fucking thing.
Seeing prior revisions for USCB consumer confidence 95.5 compared to the original prior of 94.6.
I'll just change the camera for you guys. This is getting to be ridiculous. What do you think, guys? Is this, should we change the camera source?
The White House press secretary says there are a few delicate but not insurmountable details that must be sorted out and will require further talks between Ukraine and Russia and the US.
Give you a little side profile of one of my other screens. That looks pretty good. What do you think? Yeah, good? Okay, cool. Cool, and I can not mess with this. So hopefully you guys can still hear me and see, and I'll be on for another 30 or so minutes. We'll see if we get another setup. See how we went up to one of my lines. Now this could be setting up for another setup for me. So we will see. Try to get the again. So I got out of the trade, even though it's showing that I'm still in something. What I think you guys should understand is
See pending home sales month over month, prior revised to 0.1% to the original prior of 0%.
So
We have put out the US Business Inventories August 2025 report on the feed for those interested.
I think sometimes this is something that even Larry Williams said. I've been
We have put out the US pending home sales October 2025 report on the feed.
okay. I'm gonna mute that if they keep running their mouths for nothing. Okay, business inventory report. What I think is really important for you guys to understand is I would have been out of this trade regardless of it not hitting target or not because of the news, right? The market uses news. The algos are using the news to change up their price. And so for me, being that this was a big target of 105 points, I would have been looking for the smaller end of things. I would have been probably fine getting out at 759, anywhere in here being up 30, 40 points. The market's flying around. I'm just going to get this out of our way so we can see the candles. But really, that's, I think, something to kind of comprehend is, you need to be cognizant of when data is coming out because it can change kind of the market. Now, if you guys remember, I said this first bounce, if it didn't get up to the 780s or the 830s rather, that I would be saying that the first bounce is generally
Gilts
bullshit.
Extend gains, 30-year yield down 5 basis points to 5.31%.
Everyone's giving up their positions. The only one that's holding up is Apple and Amazon. Everything else is shit in the bed. So now if this holds this level and bounces from here, this will be bullish for me. But
You're behind the markets. If you're a real day trader, go real time at financialjuice.com/purchase and save 67% on a subscription. Let's make a big, beautiful deal, people. Come on.
so yeah, like I said, I mean, if it didn't get up to the 830s, I wasn't interested. It did not. Now I want to see this bounce. Can this second bounce, because it didn't get down to this level, which was the 650s. If this holds, I would still maintain my bullishness, and technically I'm still in this trade. That is not a trade I would take with the Purdia account, but it would be one of my setups. So let's just kind of see. We got plenty of back and forth here. Let's see if either of these guys want it or if we're just going to continue to chop around. Continue to chop around and see what happens. So just kind of watching. I think that's important. Like, something that's changed from when trading used to be in the pits. It's like right now everything's a click away. An enter, an exit. And I think the exit is kind of like a double-edged sword, because you should be able to now get out of trades easier than you used to, but you also are able to change that order. Now, if you're in a pit and you're yelling buy, sell at this price, and you put in an order with an OCO, you weren't able to really change it. And so I think it kind of like helped you stay away from yourself. But when you're trading online, for beginners, you're like so close to another trade that if you don't have rules, like you're going to see all kinds of price action that'll make you want to jump this, take this, jump in here. Now, buying this bounce could make a lot of sense, but I think the more seasoned you become, you realize like you don't need the first bite on the steak. I kind of like the middle of the steak, meat of the matter. I would say if I was at Vic and Anthony's in Las Vegas and I was eating my rib cap, the best steak I've ever had, I would, be savoring my bites and making sure they're good bites, and not necessarily just like trying to take a bite right away when it comes. You got to really enjoy it. So for me, I want to make sure this bounce is lasting. Right now it looks really good. The trade that I initially put on in my other accounts looks pretty good. I mean, I think now I kind of want to consider trying this one again. But we'll see. Again, I want to, I'll take a more of a confident bite here. And again, if we start hitting these 830s, I'll take the 830s to, where we're at up here is the new week opening gap from a while ago, 850. So that's like a 20-point move to finish. Again, one trade today in the Purdia accounts, one and done. Let's just kind of get those to the live accounts. And I think people need to understand too, even though I'm taking a 25K hopefully to live, there are professional fees. Like when you're live with another company, you're trading other people's money. And so you're a professional trader, which is awesome to say, but you will have to incur $130 a month data feed if you're going to trade. Now, some firms will cover that maybe the first month or something. I have not seen the literature. I remember Purdia saying that they covered it, but I couldn't find it. I've been kind of just following Purdia over the last few years. Never was interested because you could only trade one account, and that's just too much work for just one account. I like trading multiple accounts, at least 5. So if a firm doesn't allow you to have at least 5 accounts, I don't see the advantage. They call these accounts like, big accounts, 50K account. It should be called the 2K account. That's what it is. So the 2K account right now is $274. So you're basically paying 10%. And what people don't understand is the leverage. So the average contract is $18,000 to $25,000 that you would need in your account. Yeah, there are firms you can have smaller amounts, but they can change that margin requirement on you at any time and go all the way up to the maximum needed. So I try to explain to people like, yeah, you can get, margins of $500, but anytime you actually want to trade when it's really volatile, the margin requirements might be different. So, for $250, you're trading, I think, how many contracts is it?
Nvidia shares set for biggest one-day drop in over 7 months. That's down 6.3%.
So you're trading up to 5 contracts. That's like $125,000 in margin for $250. So you're for 10% of what you're getting to trade with, the drawdown $2,000. You get in the $2,000, but you're being able to leverage that up to $125,000. So for $250, you're leveraging to $125,000. Think about that. That's astronomical. And so I think people really need to understand the value that these prop firms offer you, and you shouldn't be afraid of going live. Like, your goal is to make $1 million with each prop firm, and have them basically fire you. Like I've been fired from Apex. They won't respond. Basically they went through and they put a block on me buying new accounts, and that's fine. They can go fuck off. Because I've pulled too much money out relative to how much I've spent with them. So, these firms aren't going to advertise it. You sign these contracts saying you're not going to talk about it, but I'm done with them. They're not paying me out any more money, so we're done. Our relationship's over. I've attempted to figure out, they had me do a review. I sent in that review in June. It's November, and they haven't gotten to it, and their fucking CEO, oh, yeah, don't believe it. Don't believe it. There's only like 2,000 people, so you're telling me in 6 months you can't review 2,000 accounts? That's fucking horseshit. One person could do that. So, to me, until they fix that with me, I guess I'm just, I'm nowhere near the accounts that Nutty Bar's bought or any of these other guys. And basically, yeah, they're, blocked me from buying it because my, ROI is like 200% plus. So, I'm not the trader they want. They want people to blow evaluations and blow PAs.
Oracle shares hit their lowest level in over 5 months, last down 4.3%.
So I got about 15 more minutes. I'm done with Purdia. Everything's just kind of chopping around. It's in an area that I don't feel like trading right now. But if I do have anything to report, I'll come back. But yeah, recap. I probably can just show you the one trade today. That was pretty quick. So no additional video will be needed. So yeah, actually, you know what? Why waste your guys' time? I'm probably not going to take anything. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. I forget my catchphrase, so apologize for that. I'm going to have to go look at my old videos. I love my catchphrase for closing, but I don't have it. So thanks for watching. That's day 2 in the books of my 50K evaluation. Peace.